I don't think there's really an easy way to kind of introduce this video. There's a lot of topics going off. There's a lot to be said. There's a lot that's already been said. And there's a lot that I was hoping that this conversation would have gone away by now. And so we're going to be talking about Rich Campbell's Ultimate Clear RICHCOB as an event, one that I'm personally very excited to see that's happened, one that I think from a numbers perspective, from a content creation perspective, has drawn a lot of eyeballs, a lot of conversation, and it's, I think, really good for the game. Numbers wise, when we talk about the impact content creators have, obviously we've seen the explosive growth in Final Fantasy XIV, not just because Final Fantasy XIV is an incredible MMORPG, but also because we are now seeing big content creators coming and checking the game out and finding that this is a place that they can make content and have success in. There's going to always be a friction between that of the gamer and that of the content creator, and I hope to kind of explore that thought here in this video with you guys today. But I want to set the context correctly. I want to show you guys what is being said, and obviously this is being said online, and we do want to say that with these voices, I would count them very marginalized in terms of their size. Like, it is a very small portion of the community that has a better representation because of their vocalness, because of social media, because of how the internet functions. So I don't think this is the vast majority. However, it does pose interesting questions that we have to ask ourselves and discuss as gamers, as content creators, as people who consume content, and people who play games, and that natural friction that exists between all of these different variables that can happen, especially when it relates to what is hard content, what does it mean to be a gamer, what does it mean to really get a clear, especially with this game, and also to kind of put a little, asterisk and a star on that, that there is no current ultimate content that's brand new that 8 people can go and experience for the first time. Sure, Rich could have taken 7 other people who've never played an ultimate before, spent who knows how long that would take for them to clear the content. However, there would still probably, like, even if they did get that clear, I still submit that this side of the community would still argue that, well, they could have looked up a guide when they were offline. Like, they would find some way, no matter what, to try and discount the achievement. And let's be real, this is a real achievement, whether you play with a stacked deck or not. If you want to go be like you want to go run a marathon, and you want to do it, there's nothing saying that you can't go and hire a coach to help train you, to help push you through the work. You still have to do the work. Rich still had to do the mechanics. He could have wiped the whole team over and over again, but he ended up getting to play with some of the best people. Now let's dive in, because this is where I think I want to set what other people are saying so that I can kind of either highlight that in a good way or kind of contrast my thoughts and where maybe offer a dissenting opinion in terms of that. Rich tweeted this out. Now, this got really heated. And in fact, I'm going to kind of highlight this over here. Mule, in this case, the account's been deleted. Like, this gets pretty nasty pretty quickly. To the content creators who made the RICHCOB happen, I dare you to clear someone in this community once every 4 days like you did with this undeserving individual. All you raiders are crying about Ultimate canceled. Grow your own community instead of simping for fame. Hate. Now, if we scroll a little bit further, reply, didn't you buy a clear? Which this video that is has captured this moment in time and history. Kugan, Rich Campbell cheated UCOB. Just note that I'll have a link to that. Also, go check out Kugan. I'll tag them in the description. Give them a follow. I think it's going to be worth your time there. Though my voice is starting to fail. Okay, so that's what's happened between this account that no longer exists and Rich says, I'm so sorry about radio. All right, so then we also start to see kind of a pattern here. There are so many raiders who don't want to do Ultimate but can't because of anxiety or lack of social networking. They see Legend as something greater, and you all spit in those people's plight. Clear for one Ultimate prog never happens. This hurts and doesn't help, but congrats. We'll see this repeated over and over again, a couple of variations of that in this regards. What I would like to highlight, regardless of somebody who buys their clear versus somebody who does the work, there is the sense of fame. There is that content creation establishment, right? Running with Rich has been beneficial for a lot of people, but outside of the individual benefiting, just like the Final Fantasy, Black Chocobo campaign benefited several content creators within the 14 community. Like, I think we're gonna have to table that for just a minute. But anyway, Rich bought his clear as well. All those streamers did grow their stream in their channels. They have record subs and donuts for carrying a person more famous than them. So they bring that same energy. It's the same. They are carried legends paying for their clears. So, all right, let's kind of break this down. We'll just jump into more camera mode because that's kind of what I really want to highlight. You guys hopefully get this the theme here that's being said online. First and foremost, Twitter is not reality. Twitter is a fake world that we seem to kind of prop up and take these opinions and make them like seem like they're like this representation of the community, the whole, the whatever. And I'm very, very anti-Twitter, even though from a communication tool, from a scheduling tool, I use it here on my desktop, but I've removed it from all my devices. And honestly, as I drop my ring, because I fiddle with it when I make videos, that's the first time that happened. Removing it from like being able to have it reach me from anywhere but like kind of the office has been a real positive move in my mind. So I don't take a lot of like benefit. Same thing over on like on Reddit and social media. Like there's the tendency that you know, like the loudest voices represent the greatest number of people. I don't think that's the case. RICHCOB, Rich doing the work, getting his clear, putting the time in, clearing it. I think within 40 hours compared to what people would estimate 70 hours that people put time into. Well, that's kind of where we get back to that friction between what's a content creator and what's a gamer. You know, from that perspective, he wants to do something and he has benefits. I think there is a false sense that gaming is fair. I think that kind of grew up. If you think that gaming should be fair, I think that's when you maybe grew up in the 90s with maybe the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, maybe the PlayStation and the N64, where essentially like consoles normalized things. Like you could be a rich kid, you could, you know, and you could still suck at the game. But when it comes down to like, I think gaming being a fair, even playing field, I think that's just kind of this illusion. Life isn't fair. Gaming reflects life, but people kind of put that up into this mythos that they have, that all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay. And when somebody famous, like whether it was RICHCOB or any like popular streamer, like you take Ninja, you take any of the big ones, Tim the Tat Man, or something like that, where it's all of a sudden they're playing this game, and you see this you know, the fact that people will connect to that, people will be excited about that, they will draw in more eyeballs. There's an entertainment value, and so Rich Campbell running UCOB, yes, he wanted to do that. Yes, he did the work, but he's also a content creator, and it's not going to necessarily be entertaining or fun to watch if that goes on for months and months and months and months. And that effort that they put in, the fact that he was able to play with 7 other people, doesn't take away from your achievement. If you feel it does, this is where I think it's healthy to start to practice and kind of retrain your brain's thought pattern. Brains have this concept of neuroelasticity. If you dwell in this kind of this hate and this anger and this frustration, like you train yourself for that. In a way, it's like our brains are algorithms. And in that regards, because like I'll literally see somebody come in every now and then. I know who they are because I only see them on certain videos. But whenever there's like these like big dramatic, you know, videos that have like this, you know, like negative connotation to them, they'll always come in and say, you only post negative videos. And I like to respond, I think you only watch negative videos. And just like an algorithm, just like we can get trained into habits. This could be good or bad, right? So I think a lot of the fact is like if you're feeling that RICHCOB has taken away from your achievement in Ultimate, then I think that's something that you need to look in the mirror and have a hard conversation with yourself and ask yourself, what about that took away from what you have? You know, it's, I guess I could see a counter argument being like, well, if they've only made 100 of a limited edition like vehicle and you have one, and then everybody else has, you know, like there's 100 out, and then they decide to print 10,000 of them, and all of a sudden everybody has these legends, you know, titled, and it's like, oh, it's less rare, it's less of an achievement. But the thing is that I would say, like, you got that achievement when you got that achievement, and the fact that achievement didn't go away, it wasn't a timed achievement. There is no expectation that everybody can't do the content. Like, I would say that from an Ultimate, not everybody can do the content. I think that's aspirational content. I think where in video games, especially MMORPGs, we've replaced the concept of gear lust with content lust. And getting teamed up with other players is a good thing. It's a community building thing. It's not so isolating or gatekeeping or whatever you want to kind of like label this. And there's a part of it I feel is gatekeeping, but there's another part of it that I feel is kind of what I talked about a couple of weeks ago with this Asmongold anti-rich component. So I see a lot of that, and that's why when I started to see these commented, copy pasted, messages within this thread itself, I was like, there feels like there's just something where it's that negative campaign, it's that cancel culture bullshit, and and that aspect of it that I'm like, okay, I think there's a part of that. I think there's a part of jealousy that people are feeling. I think, yeah, people have anxiety when it comes to this aspect. And then essentially the question to them is like, well, like I have anxiety. I see somebody for anxiety. I started having anxiety when my friend Chris and my friend Eric's passed away. And that sucks. Like I can relate to people with anxiety now. And my dad has social anxiety, and I think that's even worse than the one that I have that randomly decides to pop its head in and kind of wreck with maybe a day or two of my life every now and then. But like that aspect of it is like, empathetically, I feel you there. But that shouldn't take away from what somebody else can do. And hopefully maybe there's a pathway to figure out a way to manage that anxiety. And maybe that's just the fact that like you could watch the content, experience it, be a part of the community and celebrate it. Or maybe it's the fact that if you have social anxiety and you're playing a social game, maybe that's a good thing. I'm not a therapist, not going to pretend to be, but I do try to practice empathy every time that I can. That's honestly a conversation that I'd love to know, is that, do you want to do this kind of content, and is your anxiety holding you back? And if it's your anxiety that's holding you back, I think that's the issue. It's not Rich Campbell. I think let's focus in on that aspect. So I think there's a lot of actually little pieces going on. I've seen a lot of different Reddit threads. Chris and I are probably going to talk about this, at length. I said that a couple of days ago. I was like, oh man, like people are complaining. Like people complain. Like, why is that even a thing? And I think honestly, you got those factors going in, and then you also got the fact that we don't have any real news or anything to celebrate about the game. And this event, like RICHCOB and all this stuff that's happening, is so pretty cool because it's driving more content, more eyeballs, more conversation that drives people to the game, and thus we see the game continue to grow, which might necessarily want to be put like, I want the game to grow, but I also want them to be able to get the servers that they're looking for. I think that's something that we're fighting against right now, ultimately. Now, I talked I think enough about this. Congrats to RICHCOB. If you guys are feeling frustrated and you want to weigh in, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Just note that I feel like Rich did the work. I think that he put the time in, and yes, there's going to be benefits in life, especially when you're drawing these people in. The people who played with them, yes, they have benefited as well, but they also put in the work. They put in the work prior to all of this. Not knowing that this would ever happen. Like imagine they're just kind of in the right place, right time, right people, and they're doing the job. And so it's a good thing. It should be celebrated. And yes, and the content creators like Llama Todd, they're there to help bring people into this. Hell, Chris did Ultimate last night. It's like, and they're even asking me if I want to go run Ultimate. And the answer is yeah. Yeah, that sounds like fun. I don't know if we'll get the clear, but I'll put the work in. I'll put some time into it. For sure. So am I in a position of privilege? Yes, because people know me. And that's honestly, it's not anything I expected, but it's that friction again between what is a gamer and what is a content creator. And there's a lot of work that goes into it, right? When you go and you spend thousands and thousands and thousands of hours investing in like your craft and your knowledge, and you become knowledgeable, I think there's still that friction that some people are going to discount that no matter what. And to them, I would always just, be interested in having that open dialogue and that conversation, but it doesn't make me any less of a gamer or any more of a gamer. In fact, for me personally, I think I play less video games because I make content, and I have to sit here and choose well, I'm going to focus in on that. Just for example, I play other games than Final Fantasy. I've been playing Destiny a lot, but I playing it in a way that I don't feel like I'm going to bring it to the channel. I just want to enjoy it. I'm playing Final Fantasy XI a lot, but I'm not making content around that. I'm covering the kind of the news, but not necessarily you're not seeing me stream it every day in that regards. And that's a personal choice. One that I was I feel is the healthiest for my joy and for the content that I like to share with you guys. So that's just my take, just one man's take on this regards. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I try to be respectful in the comments below. It's a, you know, it's a crazy world out there, and I'd love to know your thoughts. But outside of that, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you have a fantastic day. I hope to see you in my next video. But until then, take care.
With the clan, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh yeah. A little off topic, but I just want to say thank you for providing me a friendly, fun, and optimistic community. Baby.